back by popular demand, we have John Soforic, and I'll read his bio. So I actually was given John's book was given to me by a fellow colleague in the financial space, and said it was literally one of the best financial books that he had written. And I thought, I've read a lot. Mm-hmm. And I said, that's not possible. So I popped it in my audiobook, and I think I've read it 4 or 5 times because it's just littered with gems. He's self-published. He retired at age 50 with just a boatload of passive income, just an ordinary guy doing ordinary stuff. I think he probably read your stuff. Is probably what John did, Sharon, because it's just right out of the page. But he did it. And then he sat down and wrote this amazing book to his son on kind of how he did it. So, John, welcome back.
Back, and Sharon, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, John.
We're having John. Do we got John's video, or just audio? So, John, we're not seeing your video. So, we'll just start asking you questions, and hopefully we'll be able to figure it out. But John, I guess the first.
There he is.
Oh, there he is. Got him. Oh, just like that. We press a button, and there you are.
There's that ordinary stuff you're talking about.
It's that white shirt. The white shirt blinded the camera.
Ordinary guy can do anything. I can't even turn on my computer. See?
Well, you know what? That's one of the things that I loved in the intro to your book. You're like, hey, listen, I'm not connected. I didn't get it right. I mean, I don't want to steal your thunder, but why don't you kind of describe that?
Well, I think it's important to say that. I think that's sometimes where I fit in the niche is that, yeah, you're right. I didn't found SpaceX. I mean, that's an inspiring story. I get it that I didn't found Apple. I love Steve Jobs and his stories. Warren Buffett. They're so big. They inspire me, right? But at the same time, maybe I don't relate completely to them because their stories are just so amazing that what I can relate to is the guy who can focus while raising a family, while figuring it out, living a normal job, and still getting from $200,000 in student debt to, like you said, a boatload of retirement income. So it's possible for the average people. And I think that's where the story fits in for me. I think that's where that was missing in the genre of finance, in my opinion.
So our youth on this program, what do you want to say to them?
Well, so I wrote a book of lessons between father and son, and I spent 3 years saying things to my own kids. That's for sure. I think that for me, one of the things that mattered most was for my son to understand that money does matter. Sometimes I think that they can get a little bit idealized in our world, and they can have a poor attitude towards wealth building. And I wanted to show him the other side of that coin, that you can live a very noble life, and you can live with a lot of virtue, and you can do a lot of good with money. And I needed that to be known, and I needed to show him the pursuit. The pursuit of wealth requires a lot of you, but it helps you grow. So the virtues of wealth, I wanted him to see that side of the story.
Yes, the better you do, the more you can do. That's right. The more you can give back.
Amen. The more you can think of other things in your life when you're not strapped by worrying about that dollar, the more you can provide opportunities for the people you love. The more you don't have a worry-free, plagued existence that takes every ounce of your waking hours. Sure, I live that life. I can tell you that people that say, money doesn't bring you happiness. Well, sure. Nobody says it does, but it brings you freedom from worry. It lets you focus on more important things of life. Absolutely. Yeah, we have a boatload of other problems we can get ourselves into. Human beings are amazing for their capacity to cause problems for themselves. But if you can get the money situation straight, now you can focus on those more important things. It's really important.
How are you able to, I don't know whether it's saying no to yourself, but how are you able to control spending? One of our first slides we showed tonight was just the whole simplicity of revenue, income, minus how much you spend equals your free cash flow. So you obviously figured out how to generate free cash flow. How is it that you didn't buy lifestyle?
How
So
did you get started?
don't count me too smart, like I figured it out and then went for it. Let's not cast that light on me. Let's say that in my own situation, let's say that you get through a period of your life where you don't know how to pay for a pizza. Okay? You will never, ever forget the value of $20 if you go through that time. And then you start to see everything that you pay for at the cost of your time. At the cost of your time. For example, when my son went to college, I said, Mike, the son I wrote this book for, I said, Mike, I need you to give all your waking hours to this education. I'll provide it for you. I'm not going to pay for it with money. I paid for it with my life. And that's how you're going to have the money to get there. I gave my life for it. I want you to give your life back, because a degree without good grades is not worth the paper it's on. And so I started seeing everything as paid for by time. A $3,000 item, if you earn $10 an hour, that's 300 hours. And how much work is that? Or if you earn $20 an hour. So that was my concept that really curtailed spending. And so I think pain teaches you lessons. The pain of being poor, the pain of not knowing if you're going to survive, that was the foundational tool that taught me how to spend. I wasn't that smart.
So what was your first step when you got to that level of pain? You said, I've got to do something different. What was the first action you took?
Sharon, I just literally, one of the foundational books for me, I give Think and Grow Rich so much credit. You know, it's a classic. And I read about your name in a book called 3 Feet from Gold, which is just about that way, right? It's about Think and Grow Rich. So you know all about it. It was a transformative book for me. So the question is, I might not have been anywhere without the influence of that great book. But once I did that, I set a large goal. I had the power to, after seeing that book. Sometimes books can empower you. And I had the power to set a goal. I was in a lot of debt still. I had a family. So I had my roots deep. And my biggest first step, to answer your question, is to set a vision of $240,000 by my 50th birthday, retirement income of $240,000. I set that goal because it was a round number of $20,000 a month. That was number one. And it shifted my mind, and things follow that. But that was the first goal, no doubt about it.
Set the vision. What about to the parents? Give us some specifics on, what do you say to the parents that are listening in on how to properly guide? You've obviously written a book on it.
Sure.
This conversation with their kids.
I would say that I really believe that we have to understand that money is not bad. We sometimes have to be the parent to teach us the kids that lifestyle does matter. Lifestyle is paid for by money. I think that is one of the big things. I see so many kids come out of college and they want to save the world, but they forget about saving their families, and they get stuck in those 20s, and 20s go by and they're so formative and important. We can influence that. We can't control our kids, but we can influence what they hear. We can't control their ambition, but we can certainly show them how it's possible. Sometimes what we have to do is show them how it's possible to get what they want, and the ambition follows that, in my opinion. Self-efficacy a lot of times leads to ambition. It leads to goals. You know, the saying is, you'll accept the lowest condition, the poorest condition that you'll tolerate. And I think we have to show kids that here's how you can have this, and 9 times out of 10 they'll go there. They'll want that. You know, people are ambitious by nature, but we have to show them that it's attainable and that it's good. How would I do it? I would certainly. I believe in hungry kids. You want to have a lazy kid, give them a lot of food, give them everything they want. If you want to show a kid how to have hunger, teach them what the jungle's really like. Let them chase that rabbit. Let them chase their food. Certainly, my dad. A quick story of my dad. Once I asked him for this red go-kart. He said, "How much was it?" I said, $110. My friend's got one. I want this red go-kart. He got me a lawnmower. He bought me a lawnmower. He says, "John, $10, $10, and $10 a lawn. That's how it works." Okay, I'm 11 years old. I figured it out. But if he had just paid it, I would not have got that lesson, right?
Talk about you're a roll up your sleeve type of an investor, and kind of walk us through a little bit about you got a little bit of money and what you did.
Once there's so many stages, like it's always an evolution, like, so when you sit there and you start out, let's say you're starting out, you can't imagine the ending. And so you're talking about somewhere, I assume, past the beginning, where you do have a little bit of power now, right? So at those levels, you earn that level of the ability to step up to something that's worthwhile and have choice over that matter. In terms of walking you through it, there was once there was 6 or 7. It turned out to be 7 duplexes right in the center of our town. All went to sell at the same time, and everybody was trying to cherry pick them one at a time, those kind of things. And I could just sit back and I saw the opportunity of the bigger picture there. Now, how did I have that opportunity? I earned it. I grew my money. I grew my snowball. And because when you respect money, you get respect back from it. And so because of that, they're just my town is just seeing this guy who's just working, minding his own business. He's driving a truck. It's not that exciting. I'm not having a jet. They don't think I have money. But I walked up and bought the entire group of duplexes. Boom! All the for sale signs are down. Well, how's that happen? Everybody's scratching their head. How'd that guy do it? Well, that's called delayed gratification. It's called not spending. It's called, taking care of opportunities. Slow and steady base hits. That's what it is. It was just good work over time. And time has a way of working in your favor if you do the right things. So I stepped up and I did it. I bought them all. Now, they were a disaster. I had to fix them all up. But I came in. I had the teams. I had to hire guys, fire guys. There was a ton of work involved. But I was able to do that too because I've evolved myself up to the level where I can do that. And it's always this evolution, constant evolution of life. And if we can work on that, we can, sometimes you set bigger goals and you grow into them. So that's exactly how that happened. And there's many stories like that.
A lot of hard work, kind of a page out of your book.
That's right. Learn one system and practice it. That's right. And understand the tax code can be your friend particularly when you're talking about the real estate side of things. So.
Oh God, I love it. Yeah, geez, you make this much income, but only are taxed on this much income. I mean, it's just. Yeah, there's so many advantages to that. Walter and I talked about why real estate before at other times, and for me, I was a control freak. For me, I like to see things. I like to have it couldn't be taken away from me. So yeah, there was a lot of reasons I went into real estate exclusively. Now I'm not exclusively into real estate. I do have money in the market as well now, but back then when I didn't have 2 pennies to roll together, I built it through the rentals.
So John, let's just be. You're a chiropractor, so you start your career. You're earning a decent wage, but then you're very disciplined about controlling your expenses so you generate this nest egg. So the nest egg accumulates, and you could have gone out and bought bigger cars and bigger houses and a bigger life, but you wouldn't have had the nest egg. So you created your internal discipline, and therefore when the opportunity of was it a duplex or fourplex or eightplex came up?
It was 8 duplex, yeah, 7 duplexes. Yeah.
You had the necessary money to make that happen. I'll tell you a quick story. It's actually the creator. I've been teaching this class for 20 years, and I know Sharon, you know Lou Grubb, and so Lou's story was there were 3 guys that were general manager of this car dealership when Lou moved here in town. And there came a day when the owner of that dealership came to the three guys and said, I'm ready to sell. And there was only one of them that had money. The two other guys were living high on the hog. They were making a lot of money back in the day and spending every nickel they had thinking that it would just continue to come. And Lou was incredibly conservative. So that was the story. That was the first dealership, and then, I don't know, 11, 12 dealerships later. So at that core, that discipline.
You know, Walter, I think at the core, it's the vision, first of all. I can't tell you how much I wanted the river. I wanted a river. People always say they want this or they want that. Mine was a river. I wanted a river of passive income. I could see that. I could feel that. And so when people see discipline, all I can tell you is that it doesn't feel like discipline to me. It feels like doing the things that are necessary to attain the things that I really, really want. And so it comes back to that vision. And, you know, getting back to your point, it makes me laugh because when you were saying that, I was thinking about this, the saying that success is when preparation meets opportunity, right? Well, if that's true, preparation is a pile of cash when opportunity knocks. This stock market just took a major hit 5 months ago, right? I mean, well, I had money to do something about that now. So I did the same thing in the stock market. Again, if you're ready, if you're prepared, it does pay off. But you have to be patient, and you have to have all that kind of discipline or vision. Call it what you want.
And as you referenced, Think and Grow Rich, that's the definiteness of purpose, the burning desire, and self-discipline are all very, very big elements in that book. So,
yeah, well,
my gosh, Sharon, and the use of your mind, the
yes.
power of the human mind. I mean, I don't get to talk enough about that. I worship Napoleon Hill for that. You know, as an example, I just recently, my own rental business, you're talking about the same exact stuff now. I was at a level about 6 months ago where I wasn't quite happy because I wanted to expand it a little so I could have some more managers between me and the business. What do? I tell you what I do is I put my mind on it. Every day of my life as a ritual. I close my eyes, I envision it, I use focused faith, I use everything they talk about. People don't have any kind of concept of the power of that. In 2 weeks, and it doesn't always happen like this, I just signed a contract. 5 houses up my street for a 30 unit, and I'm getting it for less than nothing. And I can't even go into telling you about how that all works. It's a complicated deal. But it happened, and people are going to, again, scratch. In my town, this is going out before people know. They'll scratch their head and say, how did that bum do this? And it's, man, I'll tell you, people underestimate it. They don't know.
Power of the mind and the power of the subconscious, right? The difference
Absolutely.
Between the two, and auto-suggestion. You really do.
Focused faith.
Those opportunities are there. You just have to train yourself to start recognizing them.
And sometimes I tell you what, I believe in Stephen Jobs, who calls it a reality distortion. You want to talk about a guy who believes in putting your mind on something, go read Stephen Jobs' favorite book, Autobiography of a Yogi. That you'll see what he believes. He gave that book out to everybody at his funeral. And so that's the power of the mind, but nobody talks about it.
John, thank you. I want to show everybody, this is John's book, The Wealthy Gardener. I highly suggest it. It's a great read. It's on audiobook. Simple. It's story after story after story. And so, John, thank you once again. You're a treasure. I know you're going to light the world on fire relative to your message, because it's needed in the way that you communicate. You've got a knack for it. So.
Well, thank you, Walter. And let me tell you something.
John.
All I can think about this, thank you, Sharon, this entire time is I'm looking at that Starbucks on your desk right there. And I've given up caffeine in the past 2 months. And it's late out here on the East Coast. You always do this to me. And so all I can do is look at your Starbucks. So, but anyway, thank you guys for having me. Sharon, it's
John,
nice to meet you finally.
Yeah,
Walter.
thank you.
Yes. Thank you, John. Congratulations.